Hey guys, so as you can probably tell from the title of this video, this is going to be about trying to be able to memorize the fretboard as easily as possible. This isn't going to be straight up memorizing the notes note for note. Some people try to do that. I tried to do that for a little while, and while that's probably technically possible, just by drilling it, that got incredibly mundane to me, and I think there's probably other people who think like me and just don't want to do that and would rather learn it kind of indirectly by just figuring out all of the shortcuts possible. So this is the way that I'm going about it. I just started doing this like 5 days ago, maybe 5 days ago to a week ago. I mapped out in this note that you can see on screen here all of the different relationships within a single fret from string to string. And I did this in terms of where a root would be of any given key on any given fret. And if you go down this list on any given string. So if you're starting, since as it says from high to low, if you're starting on the high E string, for instance, this is A, you'll have, if A is your root, let's say you're in the major or minor key of A, just the A natural scale, root, E is the fifth, C is the flat or minor third, G is the flat or minor seventh, D is the fourth, and then you're back at your root again. And that works all across the fretboard, including with the open strings, like not fretting it at all, because of the fact that each fret just represents a semitone across the entire fretboard. Now, the reason that I like this, and the reason that I'm sure a lot of you could potentially find this really useful, is because where is one of the most natural places that you would want to go when you're improvising, when you're soloing, anything like that? Chances are it's going to be one string up on the same fret. That's at least somewhere that's easy to mentally reference. And so if you can memorize like the back of your hand what that relational note is going to be one string up, or in this case down, from your root, no matter where you are, then it'll be a lot easier to pull references of relatively where these other notes are. So say going from A to E again, from your root to your fifth, if you have the steps, the relative steps for each of the scales memorized, then you'll know to go from a fifth degree to a fourth degree, that's one step down, or to go from a fifth to a minor sixth, that's a half step up, or to a major sixth, that's a whole step up. So you'll be able to pretty easily, if you have that in the back of your head, go from E to D or E to F or F sharp, just depending on whatever scale you're in. So a big part of this is really dependent on memorizing these, or not even the scales themselves necessarily, although that definitely would help, but memorizing the relationship from step to step, or from interval to interval in each scale. So if you don't already know them, I don't even remember off the top of my head what the relation is between the steps on the minor scale, but I do remember that for the major scale, this one, from the root, it's whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. That brings you back to your root again once you get past that last half. And you can Google what the formula is for the major scale or for the minor scale, and what is now basically Google's AI, it'll pull up for you what each of them are. Just say W and H for whole and half. If you can memorize those formulas, keep them in your head, then as you are practicing, even if you're playing other people's stuff, like you're just practicing a chord progression that you know, or like a solo or a rhythm thing, whatever it is, if you just kind of actively pay attention to what the notes are that you're playing, like what are the songs that I some time ago kind of memorized how to play and got decent at, is the rhythm guitar thing for Bad Idea, right, from Olivia Rodrigo. I just thought it was catchy. And so just knowing that, I think when you start out, you're playing an open E, and then you go up to A, then B, A again, D, E. If you just consciously pay attention to the notes that you're playing, it'll help a lot with being able to make your own stuff. And also, if you happen to be interested in playing like piano or any other instrument for that matter, it'll give you a lot more easy carryover to the other instruments so that you can play the same things on them. Of course, there's more to it, like there's different muscle memory involved with playing other instruments, but it'll be close enough. So that's at least helpful for single note playing. I mean, once you get really good at it, it'll be easier to do chords, since you'll know the relation between the notes on each string that much easier. But as far as I have it, at least right now, knowing these relations between each of the strings on any given fret, it's very helpful for just mapping everything out. And I mean, after a year of paying attention to this stuff, I mean, let alone beyond a year, you'll be able to know, just like the back of your hand, that going from here to here, I'm sorry, going from here to here, that's a fourth apart. Going from here to here, or here to here, that's a second, just that sort of thing. Now, when it comes to chords, because those are equally, as far as I know at least, as big a part of playing guitar as playing monophonic stuff is, it's a little bit different. I remember seeing a video from Brandon Dion, the guitar teacher, among other things that he does on YouTube, talking about how to easily mentally transition from chord to chord in any given key using the using bar chords, essentially, just by memorizing the open E, the open A, and the open D, and the minor version of each of those, also called the cowboy chords. Because if you have each of those memorized, then since these lowest three strings on the guitar, for normal tuning at least, are E, A, and D, then if you bar them, you can go anywhere up the fretboard and you'll have those same chord shapes. And so long as your index is at whatever given place, like on the 5th fret, for example, here, if your index is hitting this A and you're making that same open E chord shape that you would normally up here, but down here with the same fret spacing apart, that's now an A chord, an A major chord, or minor if you lift up that one finger. Same thing down here with the A chords. I'm sure most of you probably get the idea. So if you're going from how can I explain this as best as possible? If this is your first chord, A major, and then you want to go to your major third, then you can just move up to here, bar this, and play an A major shaped chord. But since it's barred right here, it'll be a C sharp major chord. And then if you want to go to 5 or 6, that's a 6. If you want to go to 5, you just go to, oh wait, this would be 5. If you want to go to 5, you just move up to here, bar this, do the same shape, A major, and then, go wherever you want. And then same thing for the D string. If you know how to make the D major and D minor chords, then you can do that anywhere across the fretboard. And it's a very efficient system, because if you're doing it that way, then that's only really, E, where's that finger? E minor, A minor, D minor, counting on my fingers like I'm a kindergartner. But that's only 6 chords that you really have to memorize. The diminished chords, those can also come in, and that's an extra few that can be helpful too. But for most music that you guys are going to be playing, especially if you're just playing really basic things, you're not into it in terms of wanting to write a very unique sounding song, or you're playing just a backup progression to complement some other really interesting thing that you've written, that you've played, whatever, then this is sufficient enough to get the job done, to give a sense of movement throughout a song, just playing these basic chords. The only reason I say basic like that is because there's not necessarily, as far as I know, at least, any inversions when you're playing them as barred open chords like that. But But again, it gets the job done. And once you have that down pat, you'll have a lot more confidence to be able to move into more like interesting sounding chords. So yeah, for doing chords, memorize those open chords, and also so that you can move between them in any given key as easily as possible without having like one note being thrown off. Memorize these two. These are the 7 degrees of any given scale. As long as you're in the major scale, it goes major, minor, minor, major, major, or I'm sorry, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. Apparently, I'm not really thinking about it, but maybe I don't even have it that well memorized just yet. But yeah, if you're going from 1 to 4 and 5, those are all major. The 2 in between are minor. So if you have that memorized, then being able to do those bar chords will really come in handy, because you can know, hey, I know how to play a minor whatever chord, so I can move from 1 to 3 and know that that's a minor chord. And I would also recommend doing the same thing on the minor on the minor scale. Just memorizing that it goes minor, diminished, major, minor, minor, major, major. And so it's like, it's the exact same thing, just starting from the 6th again of the major scale. I know the way I talk, and I know that for some of you that'll probably confuse you a little bit. So if any of you have any questions about anything that I've gone over in this video, I'm more than happy to explain them in the comments. I will be as thorough as I possibly can in my explanations. I'll make more videos and I'll try to clean them up a little bit that explain things like this as I learn them, because I'm, as far as like trying to map out things like this, I'm fairly new at it too. So I'll get better, and I guess hopefully some of you guys will get better with me. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you got as much from this as possible. Again, feel free to screenshot this grid that goes across each individual fret if it'll help you. It certainly has helped me. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Again, leave me a comment in the comment section if you have any questions. So yeah, thanks.